Is another beautiful morning here at Recovering Addict, and we're going through a book called Crossroads. This is a step-by-step guide away from addiction. It's a spiritual book. I believe it goes through some wisdom stuff in the book of Proverbs out of the Bible, which is a good thing for us. It's a spiritual program. This is a spiritual way, so we're going to check it out. If it's your first time here, thanks for stopping in and saying hello and watching and taking the time. I'm LT, alcoholic addict. 2 times in my life. I always say 2 times in my life I've hit rock bottom. I've done a lot of drugs. I've done a lot of partying, and a lot of chaos has ensued over my 43 years on this planet. But 2 times in particular, addiction has really pulled the rug out of underneath me. One time when I was in the early 2000s, it was meth. Ended up with a felony, did a year in jail, halfway house, probation, the whole thing, right? Ruined everything. I was single, had no kids. So the destruction path wasn't that bad as far as like an immediate family of my own, right? But obviously I had parents and aunts and uncles and stuff like that that didn't like what they saw. Later in life, I became a raging fifth-a-night alcoholic. Like after my son's accident, just went huge, right? And then this time I was married with 4 kids and caused a lot of destruction. My wife had to deal with me. And so I had to go to rehab. I had to do all that kind of stuff. Once COVID hit, this channel was born. We started going live, and now it's almost 3 years later. October 5th this year, I'll have 3 years clean and sober. And I started this channel and going live back when I was about 4 to 6 months sober from alcohol. After having spent 5 months in rehab, had to enter to a detox, finished a whole 12-step program, entered another program. So it was like a 90-dayer. So I did two rehabs to get where I'm currently at today. And that's when it finally clicked. Like recovery finally clicked for me. Back in the early 2000s, when I got in trouble for meth, because I did meth for about a year and a half. And it was a quick descent to the bottom. I was partying. I was doing all the drugs that are out there when you're partying, acid, mushrooms, cocaine here and there. But once I was introduced to meth, all the other drugs went away. It was meth and meth only for me. Like, that's it. I didn't care about drinking. I didn't like smoking weed. It was meth, more meth, do whatever it takes to get meth. And that's what I did. All the way till I ended up in jail. And I was pretty much scared straight. You're like, what? Oh, I don't ever want to go to, I almost went to prison for 15 years. Standing in front of a judge with shackles around your ankles and waist, and you're handcuffed to your own waist, and you're waiting for the judge to sentence you to please have mercy on me or 15 years in prison was not a place I wanted to be. So after that, I got out of jail and I obeyed. I didn't smoke weed. I still smoke cigarettes and stuff, but I didn't drink. I was like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Yes, sir, no, sir. Probation officers, But the day I got off probation, I was like, I'm free. Immediately smoked weed. And then I was smoking weed daily. Every single day, all day at work. I was a pothead. So obviously I learned nothing about what addiction is, what type of person I am. When it comes to addiction, I can't drink. I can't smoke weed. I can't use drugs. I have to remain abstinent. That's me. I was watching a movie last night, or not a movie, but I'm watching this show. It's called Lincoln Lawyer. Pretty cool. It's about a lawyer who drives this cool Lincoln car, right? And he's an addict. He lost his practice for a minute because he got addicted to opiates and the whole story. He ends up getting another firm, some high profile cases, needs a driver. And so he hires this driver, and this girl is also in recovery, right? So now the lawyer's in recovery. The girl that he helped out of a situation is also in recovery. So they kind of have this, we're in recovery together thing. And it's funny that how movies too, like just to say that if you haven't noticed, like TV shows, movies are talking about recovery, meetings, AA, NA, group therapies, all that kind of stuff. A lot more. Like I hear it almost in every single movie. There's always one addict who needs to go to a meeting or something, right? So that's where he's at, right? He's white knuckling it, as the driver of the car always tells him. She's like, you can't be doing this by yourself. You got to get to a real meeting. She goes, me and you just hanging out isn't going to be enough. The lawyer's having one stressful day, and he goes to the bar. That's where he was meeting like a couple of the other lawyers that they had to have a meeting. At the end of the meeting, he goes and sits at the bar. He orders a shot of something. and a big pint of beer. And they're just sitting there and he's just staring at him, And he's in there for a good hour. And finally his driver, she walks in and she goes and grabs him, sets him over there. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I can't even have that, can I?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "It just doesn't seem fair." And then she just pulls out the old cliche. She says, "I know it doesn't seem fair, but it is what it is. We're the type of people that can't use. It is what it is." And talking about drinking, because his choice was opiates, talking about drinking, he's like, "It's not fair. I can't even just have that. It's not my drug of choice." And she's like, "You know what? The type of people we are," and she pulls out the old AA cliche. It's like trying to turn a pickle back into a cucumber. We are pickles. Once we have lost our legs, we cannot grow them back. And I didn't learn that out of jail the first time. And so that led me to drinking again. By the time I was from the age 28 to 34, I stopped using everything completely. I was into fitness. I had a job where they paid me to work out 3 hours a day. So I was really trying to get fit. But then 34 crept around, and age 34. And I figured I could drink socially. I didn't even think about it like that. It was just like, yeah, sure, drink it, just barbecues here and there, 6-packs on the weekends. And then by the time I hit 40, there was a fifth a night. Every single night, that addiction turned into a crazy craving. I was thinking about this weekend, 4th of July, you're around alcohol at some point if you got family. And I saw some Coronas over in the fridge. And I wasn't tempted. I didn't want it. Like, addiction is so far from any of my goals right now that it has no place in my life. But I'm looking at it, and as I grab a water, I sit down and I'm thinking, man, if I drank just one of those Coronas, I would want another one. And then I would want another one. And then I would want another one. And then I would want another one. And you just never stop craving. I was thinking if I smoked weed, it'd be the same way. I would have gotten really high for 20 minutes. But then as soon as it starts wearing off and you kind of start coming down, the craving kicks in. I need to get back to that high. And I'm like, man, I do not want to chase that crap. But that's the type we are. And that's what happened to me in my late 30s, early 40s, was raging alcohol until I had to go to detox and rehab. That's a little snapshot of my story. Who we got hanging out with us this morning? Geesh, good morning, brother. Good morning. Did you pick out your shoes yet? Pick them out. Let us know. Send us a link to the ones you want. Good morning, Renee. How are you doing? Brandon TV, always good. Always a pleasure. Marilyn, good morning. Glad to see you're here too. Very cool. So our channel, what's going on? Our live streams are going to be on Tuesdays at 7 a.m., Wednesdays at 7 a.m., and now Sunday nights at 8 p.m. So every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm setting myself up a new regiment of discipline. I did the 75 hard, loved it, loved what I learned as far as self-discovery goes. I loved what I learned as far as what it means to be disciplined, how my life, how my mind, how my body, being lighter on my feet, being lighter on my feet in all areas of my life, physically, spiritually, mentally, all that stuff, right? So I want to set up a new plan. And I was reading this book yesterday. If you guys look in my channel, you'll see I'm going through a book about, what was it? Embrace the Suck. Something like that. What is it? Let me see. I want to get it right. Yeah. Embrace the Suck by Brent Gleason. He went through, BUDS training, SEAL training with David Goggins. Really cool book. In there, he's talking about you need to set some goals. And he's like, I ain't talking about no New Year's resolution goals. That's for losers. You need to set some goals that's actually a lifestyle change. And so that's what the goals I'm starting to set are now, right? When I set the 75-day hard challenge, it was a challenge for 75 days to do, 5 to 8 different tasks every single day. And I did that. And it built actual good habits in my life. It built positive rewiring in my brain. And I loved it. So now my goals are going to be that I set are actually for lifestyle change and not a finish line, not an end date, but to grow until I learn enough to set different types of goals to continue a better growth mindset lifestyle. I want my mind to constantly be in a growth mindset state. And that's the type of goal setting I'm going to do. So right now, live streams are at 7 a.m. Wednesday at 7 a.m. and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. with Fleece and I. On top of that, I'm going to really rein in my diet. So since I quit the 75 hard challenge or finished the 75 hard challenge to today, I've still been working out. I've still been eating good. I've still been drinking my water, but I've been eating some cheesecake. Like last night, I ate about 1,500 cookies and some cheesecake. We were hanging out, and I've just been eating some other meals that I don't want to eat because they're really not that healthy at the end of the day. You know, they're too much grease, too much fat, and I want to start getting healthy. And it's funny, I've been on a bike ride. I went on a bike ride yesterday with one of my longtime friends. We've known each other for 20 plus years. We're both at this age, and we're both trying to stay healthy and stay fit at our age. And we were talking about, how good would it have been if we had this mindset, if we were focused on this type of health back in our early 20s instead of playing catch up, but it is what it is. And that's what we're doing. And so we're sharing each other's little experiences. Hey, this is what I do. This is what I know. I told him about my daily regimen of a gallon of lemon water. And he's telling me about these healthy little mushroom supplements, not those kind of mushrooms, but just like really good stuff for your, kind of like a ginseng type of a thing. And then fiber. And so now we've added like fiber supplements to our diet. So I'm going to continue to add things to my body to make this broken present world, this broken present body, the best it can be every single day, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And that's my goal. I mean, I just want to stay healthy, and be happy. Most of the shoes my size are out of stock. Well, they only probably make 3 at a time. What do you wear? Size 18s? Oh man. Sometimes I like envy tall guys and stuff, but sometimes I don't. I'm just kidding, bro. Just kidding. Yeah, keep looking. Can you order them if they're out of stock in the back order them? I don't know. I'd like to see some pictures of what you got in mind too. Heck yeah. That's funny. Not teasing you. Just playing around. Just playing around. So on our Tuesday and Thursday morning live streams, we're going to sit here and listen to me ramble a little bit. And then we're going to go through a book called Crossroads. I'm just going to read it verbatim and talk about it. It's a biblical one. It talks about stuff out of the Bible, but it's pulling verses like about wisdom, because wisdom calls aloud in the street and raises her voice in the public square. It's about rewiring our thinking, right? The pathway from addiction begins by waking up and listening, really listening. And such listening also goes by another name, and it's called humility. And I figured this would be a good book for us to go through. So if you don't like the Bible, I get it, but it's just another book you can read. And if you've never actually really read it, you really don't understand what it says anyway. You probably only got your opinion from TV or other people. I don't know. I just like to learn new things, and this is something I'm going to dig into. And we'll dig through this. We'll read the Just for Today. We'll go through our 30-day challenges. I need to figure out. So this 30-day challenge that everybody's in, Savage, Geese, Renee, Jenray, Renee, Lomas Happiness, me, and JV, we all press through this one. I will send everybody some of our new merch we got on the way. We got little bracelets, water bottles, and like some cool headbands. So we'll send out little good job packages to people who are finishing these 30-day challenges. And remember the real reward. It's cool to get merch. It's cool to win some shoes. But let your motivation be the better you, the more healthy mindset, the happier you, the one that walks in the house and the family's happy to see you, and you're happy to see them, and we're not ashamed and guilty. And the past is the past, and tomorrow's not here, and it's a good thing we don't even know what's in it, but we just enjoy today. Do it for that reward more so than anything else that could be out there. Good morning, Eugene. How are you doing, brother? Glad you're here. Thanks for being here. So the Just for Today meditation says the nature of our belief will determine the manner of our prayer and meditation. July 5th, 2022, exploring spiritual options. How do we pray? How do you pray? Do you pray? What is prayer? Like, what is that? A lot of people are like, I feel so weird just like talking to like nothing out there, right? But that's the just for today. Today, for each NA member, this is a deeply personal matter. Many of us find that over time, we develop a manner of prayer and meditation based on what we learn from others and then what we're comfortable with. Some of us arrive in NA with a closed mind toward a power greater than ourselves. But when we sit down with our sponsor and discuss our difficulty, looking at the second step in depth, we are pleased to find that we can choose any concept of a higher power that appeals to us. Just as our definition of power greater than ourselves differs from addict to addict, so does our manner of achieving a conscious contact. Some attend religious services, some chant, some sit quietly or talk with others, or talk with whatever is out there. Some find spiritual connection by communing with nature. The right way to pray and meditate is whatever way helps us improve our conscious contact with our own higher power. Asking others how they found their spiritual guidance is always a good place to begin. Reading literature before we enter periods of meditation can also help us. Many have gone before us on this search. As we seek spiritual growth, we can greatly benefit from their experience. Just for today, I will explore my options for improving my conscious contact with God of my understanding. Explore your options. Yay, Felice. She's awake now. Sending the stars. Very good. Love it. So the main idea of what we're about to get into here in our book called Crossroads is that the pathway from addiction begins by listening, like really, really listening. And such listening goes by another name, and it's called humility. If y'all haven't read chapter 5 in the big book, if chapter 5 is not something that's seared in your mind, there's a few pages in the big book that are seared in my mind, like page 417, acceptance, and chapter 5, that first paragraph. And obviously the 12 steps follow that first paragraph, first few paragraphs. But that first few paragraphs is something that's seared in my mind and that I say to myself all the time. Because if you are not living in chapter 5 with that mindset, you're more than likely not going to make it. And if you do make it through years of and periods of sobriety, like abstinence from drugs and alcohol, you're not going to have a happy, satisfied, fulfilled life. Not as happy and satisfied as it could be. And if you're okay with mediocrity and this is good enough and you're happy there, then that's fine. It's your life. I'm just talking about ways to enhance it and the ways that I want to be. I want to live the best I can have here. Life is so short, so short. Good morning, Crystal. Good morning. And chapter 5 is just about being honest, right? Being honest. The rumors are true. There really is a way through the addictive fog. Did you know you can really get through the addictive fog? When you consider the number of times you've tried and stopped and then went back to your addiction, think about that real quick. Real quick. How many times have you tried to stop and went back to your addiction? It is funny because I try to think about relapses. Like when they talk to me, like, hey, LT, you got almost 3 years of sobriety. How many relapses have you had? And I'm like, well, when do we start considering when we're relapsing? It seems like I was in this cycle of thick addiction, tried to quit. And obviously that's a relapse, but I wasn't in recovery because I was just trying to quit, you get all technical about it. So I technically talk about one relapse because I had entered into a program, started getting my mind well, asked for help, got out of denial, and then took 3 shots of whiskey. Some of you know the story. But how many times do we just cycle back? I need it. It feels good. I hate it. I want out. I'm ashamed. I need it. And they're just this stinking cycle. How many times have you tried to stop and you went back to your addiction? Or then you switch addictions, right? You think you're doing good and you switch over to another addiction and that takes you away. And then it takes, a couple months for it to reveal its head. And then you're right back to where you were, but you didn't use a drug it's a trip. Freaking addiction's a trip. You can easily believe that life is a revolving stage. You're like, what the hell? Just keep going around and around, always returning to the same place. But there really is a guidebook to life. And contrary to what you might think, it is available to everyone, including you. Wisdom calls aloud in the street. She raises her voice in public squares. At the head of the noisy street, she cries out. In the gateways of the city, she makes her speech. Proverbs 1:20-21. Wisdom means knowing how life is supposed to work and how it works best. To get it, you have to listen. You got to listen to wisdom. So there's two voices, two different voices. You got the voice of folly and the voice of wisdom. Good morning, Deborah. Thanks for being here, and thank you for the stars. About 30 times. Well, I feel you, man. But listening to wisdom, it's not easy. As you know, there's another voice also that cries in the street. And that voice is folly. In that book I'm listening to right now, Embrace the Suck, he talks about temptation. And to achieve your goals, to have a laser beam focus on the success and mindset and the happiness and what you want out of life is on that hill over there, the beautiful sunset. You see your success, you see whatever success is to you, right? But to get there, you got to go through this valley and climb up this mountain, because anything worth doing is going to come with pain. It's going to come with struggle. It's going to come with learning and failing and trying, whether you like it or not. As if that's not hard enough, in the bottom of this valley is temptation. And he calls this temptation a tiger. The tiger comes out from the bottom of the valley, and say you want to go to college and you want to achieve all these things, and you see this straight path to getting what you want to get. And temptation is going to knock you off that path of achieving and putting things off and not doing what you should do right now, or even making huge bad mistakes, right? And this tiger walks out in this silk robe, shiny white, polished ivory teeth, couple of pretty girls on his arms with a cocktail and a perfectly rolled joint in his hand. And he's got his smoking jacket on. He's like, come on, let's hang out for a minute. And it's enticing, and you're like, yeah, maybe maybe that can wait just for a minute. I'm going to hang out with this guy because he seems so legit. And then you go down, you drink and you're partying, and you wake up and it's not what it said it would be. And that is the voice of folly, right? Temptation. Blank currency, sober. 2 months sober. Nice. Fighting versus my pride that leads to my gluttony. Oh, that's a thing. That's a legit. We have a friend in here in our Discord. If you're not involved, I believe you could find some around in my link somewhere. Join our Discord. But John V, we call him JV. He has a little show, and he was like huge, like 400 pounds or something like that. Could barely walk through an airport with having to sit down. Had to buy 2 tickets and stuff for his seat. And he got fed up. He quit overeating and lost all kinds of weight. Now he's running marathons. So proud of that guy. So avoid addiction. You got to listen with humility. And there's 2 different voices. You got the folly, the temptation, the bad one. And then you got wisdom, right? Wisdom's not that easy, and there's another voice, and it's called folly, also known as addiction. Offers the flash and cash. Consider what she promises, and it's no wonder she's difficult to resist. Oh, that kind of gluttony. Mine too. I was a glutton for the booze, big time. I was pounding gallons on the weekend, and I was committing slow suicide with alcohol. So I completely relate to you. Gluttony, I always think of that movie Seven, the 7 Deadly Sins. You got Brad Pitt and what's in the box? And I always think about gluttony and that guy just eating, that got force fed all that spaghetti till his belly popped. That's where my mind instantly goes. So what does folly offer you when she's whispering? The voice of temptation, something secret? Hey, listen to this. Look, I got the easy way out. Here, try this. Something secret. Or is it quick money? Hey, if you do this, man, you'll be rich real quick. What about pleasure? You want to feel good, and you want to feel good now? How about rest, relaxation, and ease? That's too difficult over there. Come and just sit. How about no problems? You do this, you'll have 0 problems, at least for right now. Or friends, right? And put those around your friends who will encourage you down a foolish path. It's what she doesn't say, too, that is the killer. She cries out, now, now, now. You can have all of this now. That's us addicts. That's what addiction offers. Instant gratification, instant satisfaction, instant pain relief for the moment, for the first few moments, until it's not, right? Until it becomes a chore, until it becomes a bottomless pit of misery and addiction. But who wouldn't listen to that, right? The easy way is always just, that folly, like, give it to me now. I can have this now. I can be rich right now. I can feel better right now. I can do whatever right now. I can lose 500 pounds overnight right now. Of course, you're going to that's what we do. Who hasn't listened to such a promise, even if she hasn't delivered? But here is the reality. Her speech is a trap that is barely camouflaged. She invites you to the banquet. She tries to shield your eyes from death all around you. The stench is masked up by cheap perfume. Even while you become contaminated, as the disease spreads and your own flesh begins to rot, she promises that more of your addiction is the only tonic that will heal. Death is her trade. Lies are her native tongue. What if everyone, not just us, that suffer from addiction, we fight versus the 7 sins daily? According to the standard list, they are pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So wisdom. It would be nice if you could simply say, oops, I lost my way. Oops, I did math for a year and a half. Whoops. And then start following the voice of wisdom. Oh, I'm not going to listen to that temptation voice no more. I'm just going to start going down this path. But as you know, the work in front of you is a freaking battle. Think of the cartoons where a person has 2 miniature creatures, right? A mini me, a mini you on each side of your shoulder, whispering in either ear. Foolishness is in one ear. Wisdom is in the other. Foolishness usually wins. Foolishness is the hip contrast to wisdom. And who wouldn't follow it? From a distance, foolishness sounds ridiculous. It makes promises it can't keep, and it has nothing to give except death anyway. But close up, when it conjures up a mirage that matches our desires, foolishness sounds like life. Like, that's what I want. Wisdom, or at least the stereotype of it. Now people think of the angel, the good angel, the bad angel. The bad angel's always the cool one. I want to hang out with that guy smoking the good cigarette, That's the cool. But wisdom, like the good, the easy path, the goody two shoes. That's what it has, a stereotype. It's slow and steady, right? And how many ways can you make don't do that sound interesting? But wisdom doesn't just fade away when it loses the slick appeal of foolishness. Instead, wisdom goes into overdrive. It speaks more beautifully, exposes ugliness of the folly, and makes promises that it will keep. Wisdom woos you. It beckons you. It persuades you. And that's kind of what this channel is doing right now. Try this. Try these new goals. Set up a 30-day challenge for yourself. Start drinking more water. Start eating healthy. What do you not want to do? Stop doing that. Start doing this. All that inner feeling that you feel when you start doing this 30-day challenge and things start getting better. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you for sharing. Super appreciate that. All that you feel, right? All that tug to do what you know is out there that is better. That's wisdom saying, look, there's a better way. Come and try that. Or folly. Hey, you want it now? Here, drink this. Shoot this in your arm. Wisdom woos you, it beckons you, it persuades you. Don't forget my teachings, but keep my commands in your heart, for they will prolong your life for many years, and they will bring you prosperity. Wisdom says, listen to this. It's going to bring you and prolong your life and bring prosperity. Lay a hold of my words with all your heart. Keep my commands, and you will live. Get wisdom. Get understanding. Do not forsake my words or swerve from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. Wisdom is supreme. Therefore, get wisdom. Though it costs all you have, get understanding. Esteem her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. My son, pay attention to what I say. Listen closely to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to a man's whole body. And wisdom says that without lying. It's not a lie. Where the instant gratification of addiction and folly is. Yep, the many versions of us, the one with the angel wings and the one with bat wings. We keep feeding our bat wing self, spoiled it and made it fat, while Angel is malnourished and fatigued. 100%. That's funny. So listen, and you might hear hope, which you may not have heard for years. Wisdom actually seeks you. Your job is to hear the voice of wisdom and to learn to love it. The source of wisdom. As you can already tell, wisdom isn't a symptom of steps to memorize. Wisdom is quite personal. It comes from God. It has a voice. You already knew that, but it still might surprise you. Perhaps you thought God was peeved and waiting for you to finally get it right. Then he might grace you with his presence. Or maybe you were peeved at God and waiting for him to finally get it right. Or both. In any case, you probably aren't accustomed to thinking of God as the one who goes out into the most dangerous streets in the middle of the night, searching for you and calling out your name. Perhaps you didn't know that when you veer off into your addiction, he ratchets up his persuasive appeal a few notches. Wisdom. A lot of you have been in this 30-day challenge for the last couple of months now. Crazy. And that's wisdom. You started listening to that voice in your head. You started putting some things down on paper, and you've been actually listening and following that voice of wisdom. What do you think? Which is better? Obviously, it's a dumb question, really. What life is better? Continue into that insanity. Remember step 2 brings us and restores us to sanity, which means the life we were living is insanity. And now we're starting to live insanity, like being sane. And it's such a better life. So 2 kingdoms. God is the voice of wisdom. He invites you to his kingdom. Your relationship with him is an uneasy and strained one, so it will take some work. That other voice, listen how familiar it sounds. The cartoons have a part partially correct. The voice of your addiction really is your own mini-me that your voice is hearing. Yes, other voices join in, but it is at least your own voice. How else would you know so well? How else would it know exactly how to entice you? Why is it so enticing? Because it's you. It knows what you want, It is the voice of your desires. The map is now in front of you. The path you are on always comes to a crossroad. One path leads to folly and death, and the other one leads to wisdom and life. Study the map and you will notice that you are actually walking towards a kingdom. You are traveling either toward a kingdom where God is your king and father, or you are committed to the rival kingdom in which you try to manage your own life apart from God. In other words, these decisions are about allegiance. Addiction is a battleground where your loyalties are revealed. So take action. The stakes are high. Listen carefully. 2 different voices call out to you. They may not feel like it, but you still have the capacity to hear the voice of God who wants to guide you into wisdom and life. You will need to find a God that speaks plainly, not in code. To hear God, you don't need any special skills. You just have to listen to him. So do something. Listen and action go together. If you are ready to listen, you are ready to act. If you are not ready to act, you are not ready to listen. So we talk about that a lot, right? We talk about you got a lot of people come up with great ideas, wonderful ideas, problem-solving, world-saving ideas. But if that idea is not immediately followed by action, it's nothing. It is really nothing. So that's why we got to find out our problems, find out the solution to our problems, and then build an action plan. And then take action on that action. Let's jump into our Discord real quick here. I would like to check out our 30 days, our 30-day challenges and how that's going. Bring my StreamYard down to this screen. So what we're doing on this 30-day challenge, if you don't know and you're new here, is that we are doing 5 different tasks. One, we're building a cookie jar, and that's looking at what we have in the past as far as challenges that we have overcome. Like for me, running away when I was 15 and going on a drug binge until I was in my 20s in jail, and all the stuff I had to do to overcome and get out of that is a, being part of my family's life when they were divorced and I was uprooted from Utah and just moved to Michigan, name changed, held back a grade. I had to recover from that, some stuff in our life that we've had to have victory over, that proves that you can't hurt me, that proves that we are resilient, that proves that we can do things. That's building your cookie jar. So in the future, when you start struggling, you can look back and pull something out of your cookie jar and be like, hey, I made it through that. I can make it through this. So number one, we're building a cookie jar. Number 2, throughout the day, we're thinking and saying out loud 10 things we're grateful for and 10 things that we like about ourselves. 3, we're doing 45 minutes of some type of moving exercise. Just get out and get your heart rate up a little bit and just move, stretch, yoga. It doesn't matter. Then we're trying to drink a gallon of water every single day. And then 15 minutes of listening and reading a nonfiction book. And then we're dropping it right here inside this Discord. 30-day challenge. Everybody who is involved gets their own little channel, just like Savage Freedom here. And she's been posting some awesome stuff. Let's see what she's got to say today.
Hi, everybody. Happy 4th of July. What better place to spend it than right here at the river with the dogs?
Nice.
Who love it. And over there is my aunt and family. You can't really see them, but Angela's waving. I have my cousin and Cohen with me. Aubrey, that was just a dragonfly. I hope it got caught in the video.
Yeah.
But today is actually just a lot of fun. Most people spend their 4th of July drinking. So we figured if we walked about 1.5 miles inward, nobody would be here because who wants to drink and exercise? And we were right. Nobody's here. It's just desolate. It's beautiful. And actually on the same river as part of my cookie jar, 3 years ago in October, right as I was getting my first significant amount of clean time in my life since I was about 9-10 years old, I had stutter on this river. So 3 years ago in October was when I fought for my life. I was staying in the Lantern House, the homeless shelter, and I could not take it anymore. I was trying to get away from this toxic relationship that I ended up fighting longer to get away from, but that's a different cookie jar tale. And my dog, Jippy, who's over there running around somewhere, him and I sat by this river. I had a bag of dog food for him. I had no phone, no cigarettes, no food, nothing. And I laid by this river and I wanted to kill myself for 2 days straight. I fought this really intense spiritual battle of whether I wanted to be alive or dead. And my dog right there somewhere, he is the reason I'm alive, him and God. As I laid on this rock, hidden out of view from everybody, and just fought this turmoil inside, anybody that came close to that riverbed, I swear, grew 3 times bigger, and he would do this deep bark, and people were like, oh, I didn't see you there, and they would leave. And so I decided that he was worth living for at that time. I couldn't find it in me to be worth living for, but he was my reason to be alive. Shortly thereafter, I got an apartment. And I had over a year clean from drugs, alcohol, the whole 9 yards. So that was awesome. So yeah, this river has some really big significance for me today. And over there, Cohen, you want to say hi? Cohen's been staying with me. He's 13 years old, and he is just thriving and having the best summer of his life as well, which makes all of us feel really good. So anyway, that's my video vlog of Babel today.
Good job.
Have a wonderful, safe 4th of July, and don't put yourself in a high-risk situation.
Yeah. Freaking love it. Thanks, Steph. Then she puts these cool collages of what she's doing. Her gratitude list. And she's going through the book Unstoppable by David Goggins. And if you haven't gone through that book, I highly suggest it. And then Geesh, what's Geesh been up to? Oh, walking his dog, keeping it safe from fireworks. That's a good idea. Some dogs don't like that stuff. My dogs, especially my shepherd, she could care less. She'll sit right there. Unless it's like a bottle rocket. The bottle rockets, she starts chasing them. She wants to catch them. She's a fetching dog. God is awesome. Journaling going on. He says, yesterday my wife handed me $100 bill for groceries and find some fireworks, and I didn't even have a thought to buy drugs. What? Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Not that I would have done it, obviously, but that thought always crosses my mind. Yeah, it's a habitual, our old way of rewired thinking, huh? But the fact that thought didn't even cross my mind until I realized it, after I spinned it was a huge step. That is an amazing step, bro. That's what I'm talking about. We get so confident in these new ways of thinking, this new path and goal setting, that addiction is just like, it's gone. It's not even a part of our lives. It's just gone. And we're going to get to a point, and some of us are there, some of us are not yet, but we look back and go, how in the hell did I ever let myself get like that? Just like the conversation I had with my buddy yesterday on the mountain when we went mountain biking. Imagine if we would have had this mindset earlier in life instead of playing catch up. But you can't ponder on that because the past is the past. It is what it is, but we're doing it now. And dude, I'm proud of you. So proud of you. Jen Ray, she's crushing it too. Smiling, drinking her water, doing her journals, listening to her books, anxiety busting. Challenge your thoughts. Very cool. Renee, she's doing it and dropping all her grateful stuff in here. Grateful for boyfriends, grateful from learning from others. Oh, I love it. Quality of life is increasing. I love that. I so love that. 10 things I like about myself. The ability to work, apply myself, willingness, open-minded, honest, beautiful. We are changing the way we think. Tabitha, she's reading this awesome book. Great picture. That is an amazing picture. I love it. I love it. I love when people are crushing their goals. Here's some of mine. I'm crying about the fiber I went and bought because I can't believe how old I'm getting that I'm actually having those types of discussions now. I'm listening to Embrace the Suck. This is a bike ride I went on. I usually stop like right here, and that's like a mile and a half. But me and my buddy Gentry did this one yesterday morning, and it was about 4 miles, almost 4 miles. And it took us 2 hours because we were stopping and talking so much, but it was wonderful. Great bike ride. Great bike ride. And then JV crushing it at all. Ooh, look at that nice swimming pool. That's how much water he's drinking today. He's out getting his walks in. He's crushing his goals, running 7 miles. JV, you're an inspiration, brother. You are an inspiration. So if you want to be a part of our 30-day challenge, join us in the Discord. Here, I'll drop a link for everybody. Edit the invite link so it says never expires. Never expires. Feel free to share this with anybody you think could benefit from being a part of a community that loves to grow together. Yeah. All right. Where are we at with comments? Where are we at? Josh or John. Why did I read Josh? Josh, what's up, brother? Better late than never. Glad you're here. Addiction is like living from Venom. No kidding, huh? We are addicts in recovery just for today and the rest of our lives. Yeah. However Venom's voice goes. Body, Mind, and Soul 12-step teaches us that it really is great. It is easy to fall off need to study these things to keep the knife sharp versus sin. Amen to that. It's like what you feed, when we talk in that Christian language of the flesh and the spirit. Our flesh is the folly, our flesh is the sin, our flesh is the 7 deadly sins and desires to do that. And if you feed it, it grows. And our spirit, if we feed our spirit, it grows. So we got to starve one of them. And it's a lot about what we let in our ears and our eyes. What's influencing you throughout the day? What are you listening to? What are you pondering on? What are you daydreaming about? What are you involved with and influenced by? Who are your friends? The old saying, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. And a lot of this stuff, like I keep saying this too, that I keep reading this books on people who are highly successful, highly motivated, people who set extreme goals and achieve extreme goals. They all say the same stuff. Get away from the losers that keep you down. Change your goals and mindsets. Listen to good books and nonfiction stuff and grow. Try, fail, get up. Try, fail, get up. Try and fail and get up. Grow and learn. It's all the same answers, and it's not easy. Good morning, Facebook user. It's not easy. There's no easy button. There's no secret way to get out of the misery. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work, y'all. So how was everybody's 4th of July? Was anybody triggered? Did anybody have a high-risk situation? Did anybody get super tempted to party like it was the 4th of July? I didn't. It's just not a part of my life. I didn't wake up hungover this morning. Could have tried 3 years ago and more on this night. I would still be in bed drunk, right? Because I probably just barely fallen asleep, passed out a couple of hours ago. But we were kind of reminiscing and talking. We had a nice big family get together last night about some of the 4th of Julys that we had and the asses we were making of ourselves drinking, And I'm just so glad I wasn't doing that last night. We got up, we left. Guess who drove home? I drove home because I wasn't drinking. That was awesome. Came home, relaxed, slept good because alcohol affects your sleep in a bad way. Like you don't sleep good when you're drunk or whatever. And if you're on meth, obviously you don't sleep. But I woke up this morning and today I feel good. Here I am keeping to one of my goals, Tuesday morning live stream, part of my new lifestyle change. And after this, I'm going to go and exercise. And then I'm going to come home and I'm going to work. I'm going to do some editing and figure some things out. It's so cool. Good morning, brother. Not even tempted at all. So it says Facebook user, FYI, just to make this clear. The reason it says Facebook user is because you're in the private group. And the private group respects your anonymity. And so do I. So if you want us to know your name, you either have to let StreamYard allow to use your name or come to the YouTube or the Facebook page side of things. But yeah, 4th of July, I looked for any reason to party. And I got to the point where 4th of July's, January 1st, Super Bowls, World Series, whatever event, a family gathering or a group of buddies can get together to party, right? That was my excuse to go belligerent blackout drunk. I didn't really need much of an excuse to party. And so it could be highly tempting to justify and say, oh, it's okay. It's July 4th. I mean, we're celebrating our country's independence. This is what we do. We're Americans. And you could just start from there and start talking yourself into it. And somebody shows up with some type of alcohol that you've never tasted before. And then before you know it, you're like, I think I should taste that because that's a great idea. That happened to actually Bill W. If you watch the Bill W. story on Prime, very inspirational. The guy that founded AA, very awesome story. If you haven't watched it, definitely try to watch that. John says, I woke up with a food hangover. Yeah, I ate a lot too. Went to the Baltimore Inner Harbor fireworks show. Sick. People drinking and smoking all around me, but I didn't have one craving. I'm truly grateful. Man, I'm grateful for you, dude. That's awesome. It shows where your head's at. And now you're talking about it too, because even though in the moment we may not have had those cravings, and me as well, seeing that Corona in the fridge, right? I didn't have a craving. I thought about the ugliness of it, but still it like entered my head, and we'll still play little games on my psyche and all that kind of stuff. And it's stuff we need to vent out the next day and get it off our chest. Around this high risk stuff, it was not appealing to me, but it's another little, another smack to us, even though it doesn't feel like it at the moment. But good job for you, bro. So good to be in this side of recovery, this side of sobriety, waking up not ashamed. My wife's not mad at me right now. Felice is not mad at me. My kids are not mad at me. My family, for what we did last night, they're not mad at me now. Like normally they would have been. We talked about that one night that I drank way too much at their house. I don't even know what I did. I don't remember. I was completely blacked out, but I fell, broke their toilet and their sink at the same time. And I don't know how I didn't get bruises or cuts on my head, but I knocked the toilet off the ring, chipped the bottom base of the freaking sink. I don't know if I was in there flopping like a fish out of water or what. But then right after that, I walked out and fell down the stairs and tore my ACL in my knee. But that didn't happen last night. And it's not going to happen again, at least not due to addiction. If I trip and fall, that's another story. Man, I'm so proud of everybody here. So proud of our contestants, our lifestyle changers. That's what I should say. We're all changing our lifestyles for the better. And it feels good. RA's going good. We're growing good. And now I'm going to go work out. I'm going to get on my bike. I'm going to go do my usual 2 to 4 mile ride up that hill. John says, so true. No one's mad at me this morning. Not just like that feels so good, huh? Oh, man. Anybody else feel that good? Anybody else so proud of themselves? Recovery is an addict's greatest best blessing. Absolutely. Thank you, James, for popping in. Oh, in that show I was watching too, The Lincoln Lawyer, where they're talking about recovery. And they talk about it a lot because the lawyer is recovering from opioid addiction and his driver was the same. And she was when they were sitting in the bar and he's just staring out these 2 shots of alcohol and a big old beer and wondering whether or not to drink. And he's telling him, he told her, I wanted to prove to myself that I could sit here and not drink those drinks for my daughter. And because he's trying to get back the trust of his ex-wife so he can see his daughter more often. And she looks at him. She's like, if you're doing it for them, it's not going to work. He's like, yeah, I heard that in recovery too. Or something. I heard that in therapy too. And she's giving him all this little awesome advice. And then she's like, you got to figure it out. She's like, recovery. You got to figure out what you're recovering from. You got to dig deep because recovery is about regaining and restoring and finding something that was lost or taken from you, right? What are you recovering from? Alcohol, all the drugs, all that crap was the solution to our problem. So we get rid of the drugs and the alcohol, right? Alcoholism, you get rid of the alcohol, you still got the ism. That's the recovery process. What is the ism that you're recovering from? Do you know that? If you don't, I highly suggest you dig deep and figure it out. Just like Letterkenny, figure it out. Because you got to know what you're recovering from. Corey says, 4th of July used to be all about getting drunk. Last night I was watching fireworks with the same godly music on. I love it. I'm growing up. It feels good, doesn't it? John says, what's up, James? Yeah, man. I just don't see my life ever changing. I feel like this is a new lifestyle for me that's not going to stop nor decrease, but only increase. I'm on an upward momentum. I'm learning how to take and face challenges and hard times and bad moods and sicknesses and just when things go wrong, and to continue to stick to my goals no matter what. And so my goals are set. I'm going to be live on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights. I'm going to exercise 7 days a week. Saturday and Sunday's exercise is just going to be some light cardio, walks with the family, playing in a swimming pool, that type of fun exercise when you're just playing around. Playing around is just a fun way to have exercise, FYI. Pickleball is a fun one. Swimming is a fun one. Mountain biking on a flat trail with your family is a fun one. Even just going on little walks around the block is fine. But Monday through Friday, I'm going to hit 45 minutes of intense cardio because I'm going to burn fat. And then in the evening, I'm doing the weight training. So Monday through Friday is going to be 2 exercises with weight training. But Saturday and Sunday is going to be more relaxed, chill. Got to let the body rest a mold. Saturday, I'm going to take a break from digital work, digital scrolling, all that kind of stuff. So Saturday is going to be something to retrain my mind to not get on computers and to not get on my phone. This is a lifestyle change I'm setting up for myself because I want the best life I can have in this broken world right now. And it's possible. And it's okay to do that. And I love that setting goals. We talked about this, like maybe think it was Sunday night, but to better yourself is better for the people around you and society as a whole around you. So doing it for yourself is an absolute must and the main reason, right? But the ripple effect is another reason you ought to do it. The better you take care of yourself, the better goals, the better healthy mindset and stable you are, the better it is for your wife, husband, children, mother, father, whatever, in your close proximity. How much better is that just for them? And then to your coworkers and to the people at the gas station you run into, your police officers in the neighborhood, because they're not wondering what that guy's doing on the block at 3:00 in his shed anymore, or driving drunk with his kids in the back seat like I did. Society as a whole thanks you and is better for us becoming better for ourselves. It's just a win-win-win situation. Anything in life I try to do now, I try to find the win-win in it, because if it's just me winning, that's cool. Winning's fun. But if I can win and you can win, or if I can win and my wife can win, if I can win and my friends can win, even better. And then if you can finally even muster in that triple win, I win, they win, you win. Oh man. Start thinking like that. It's awesome. Hey, John, what a wonderful new life, huh? Oh, I love the positive comments. 100%, huh, Geesh? No diggity doubt. No diggity. Awesome, y'all. Well, that's 1 hour for me this morning. I'm going to try to do this an hour every Tuesday and Thursday. And then we got our new employee. I shouldn't even say employee. Aubrey's a teammate. She's a champ. She's awesome. We're going to be busting out a lot of social media. We're going to try to figure this social media thing out so that we can grow Recovering Addict to the moon, just like Doge, right? To the moon. So y'all, do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your programs, and let's actually say the serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. So do not put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your programs, and remember, we recover better together.